Hey there guys, we're going to be going back to Lynx, the Clash of Wills boss, for another rank 1. Now in the previous rank 1 video, got a lot of comments saying what if I don't have Deuce, she's a relatively, unpopular unit. So we're going to be going back. Instead of bringing Deuce, we're going to bring Kaito, and we're also going to swap out Duane for Genesis. Now using magic is going to cause a few problems, but we're going to deal with it. Now, as far as the people that are asking, what if I don't have Hayo, that's a project for a different video, one project at a time. This is the No Deuce video. Okay, so this is going to be relatively similar to the previous clear, but because we're using Genesis, we're going to have to make a few changes. So for turn 1, we're going to use Genesis to just seal the boss with Magic Sword. Notice this is a physical typed attack, therefore it will not trigger a counter. Ayabrea can do Barrier, Gene Heal, and Haste to make sure you do it in that order. Hayo will do Infarega. Then we're going to do Breaker Claw Magic, Breaker Claw Physical. Kaito in the base form, we're going to do Receding Tide for the 55% mitigation to machines, and we're going to do Swelling Current for 55% demon mitigation. So this is going to be a lot of racial mitigation. We're also going to use Tranquil. Runda will do his LB. And then Melissa will do Parasol for the human mitigation. Therefore, we now have all 3 racial mitigations. We're going to also do Chronic, and we're going to do Curega. And we are using healing gear on Melissa to boost our heals. So we're healing for 22,000 even through the healing reduction. So there we go. So here's some attacks right here. As you can see, relatively minor damage. Now we didn't heal for very much because of the healing down, but it's fine. So this turn, we're going to use Genesis's LB. That is a magical attack, but we wanted to do that for the Sword in Peril, and we got to do it on turn 2. So the counter buff will be gone by the burst turn. So we're going to get a few extra hits this turn because of using magic, but because we've got all this racial mitigation, the counter attacks are not going to be that big a deal. So Runda will cover, hit the boss, and protect Ga. Ayabrea will just triple heal this turn, get the party nice and topped off, get ready for those counter attacks. They're not going to be that bad, honestly. Hayo is going to shift this turn. We are not provoking with Hayo, by the way. I'm sorry, we're not going to shift. We're going to stay in the base form. What am I doing? Base form, and we're just going to reload right here. Kaito is going to shift, and he's going to do Crashing Waves for the Dispel. We're going to do Deep Submersion, and we're going to do Downpour for the accuracy down. And then Melissa is going to do, on this turn, we're going to do Shared Immunity, and then just some killer buffs for the morale game. So because we used a magic attack, the boss is going to get mitigation yet again. He's going to refresh it. You'll notice he's going to get his buffs right here. And then he's going to also use a few extra attacks on Runda. But because we're using all this mitigation, it's relatively who cares. But he did refresh. It's actually a smaller amount, so it looks like it's not there. But he gave himself an extra turn of mitigation. It'll still be there on turn 5. But on turn 6, it'll be gone, so we're fine. So Genesis will now just use Magic Sword to seal the boss. Melissa will do Triple Killer. Morale gain. Runda can SLB. Ayabrea is going to shift this turn and use her Fire Imbue on this turn so the cooldown starts. So we're going to just do Parasite Fire and then just hit the boss twice. Hayo is going to do Infarega. We're going to do Refine Stance, and we're going to do Blazing Brand for his Fire Imbue. And then Kaito can do just, Deep twice or triple times and Deep Stabilizing, etc., etc. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so some more attacks, no big deal. And notice right here, the boss still has extra turns of mitigation. That is because we used a magic attack. But again, it's going to be gone by the turn we need it, so it's totally okay. Okay, so we're going to just reload on Melissa and Genesis. Genesis will Magic Sword again, which is not actually magic. We'll just reload Melissa for the killers. Runda will do cover hit the boss, and Protectka. This turn, Hayo is going to shift, and we're going to use Man-Eater Claw for a bigger human killer on himself. So, Man-Eater Claw right here. Ayabrea back to the base form, where she's going to do Necrosis this turn, and then Barrier and Gene Heal. And then Kaito can just reload and do his Deep and Destabilizings again. Okay. Morale's filling up nicely. By turn 6, we'll be good to go. Some more minor attacks. We've got so much mitigation, we don't really care. Okay, so normally the boss's mitigations would be gone, but because we used an LB or a magic attack back on turn 2, they're still here. And this is why magic attacks are kind of irritating on this boss. But we're fine. They'll be gone next turn. So this turn, we're going to get ready for bursting. So we're going to do Burst Fire for 150 amp, fill LB, and then Preface is the last action on Genesis. We can just reload Runda. Ayabrea is going to shift here. We're going to do her 180 Amplify, 180 Amp, Awakened, and then just a Bolting Strike. Hayo on this turn will do his 89 breaks and Big in Peril. We'll do the Field and his 150 Amplify. It's going to fill his LB gauge as well. Kaito is going to Downpour, Deadly, and Natural for the 90 breaks. And Melissa is going to do Shared. We're going to do Human Killer on Genesis. And we're going to do Minutes of Might. Okay, so we didn't use any magic attacks since Genesis's LB on turn 2. So now the mitigations will wear off. There we go. So now we're going to get a full powered burst even with Genesis and the rest of the party. Okay, let's burst hit the boss pretty hard. So we're not going to do the chain count this turn. That's fine. It doesn't really matter. We're going to do it later. So we're going to shifted LB Kaito, Hayo, and Aya. Genesis, we'll do Purgatory. We'll do the attack and magic buff because we don't have arcane supplementation this turn. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do this, and again, we need to push below 50, which we should comfortably do. So here we go. Wait. Send Genesis. 2.4 in Genesis. Not terrible. Okay, that's fine. Not the greatest burst, honestly speaking, but it's fine. It's fine. So Runda's going to LB here, and then Melissa will triple bar Dark Jerk, and we're going to burst again next turn. Okay. That's actually kind of a low variance roll. We've gotten as high as like 8.5 in test runs. 7.6? Garbage. It's fine. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. We're just not going to be like a super flashy overkill this time. Anyway, so we're getting dispelled on the upcoming turn. Yeah, we're getting dispelled at the end of this turn. So what we're going to do, we're going to use Genesis SLB, which will again cause counterattacks. That's okay. Runda will triple bolting, but Genesis's SLB will put up the Sword in Peril again. Aya's going to LB, Hayo's going to LB. Before we do all of that, we're going to normal attack Kaito. Normal attack to perfect dispel the boss. There we go. And then we're going to wait on Melissa. We'll use the attack and magic buff. And we'll go ahead and chain these up. This will do a decent, okayish chunk of damage, like 8% or something. Totally fine. The important thing is that gave us the 100 count chain score that also reapplied the Sword in Peril. Now we're going to use Bar Darkja on Melissa, and we're going to double Kurega because we did take some hits right here. Okay. Damage over time, no big deal. Again, we're going to get a counterattack. The boss is going to use some mitigations again, but we're going to deal with it. It's okay. It's okay. The boss imbued himself with fire, but we are using fire resist on Runda, and we got completely dispelled that turn. Keep that in mind. So, this turn, first action, Melissa is going to imbue the boss with dark. All-consuming darkness. We're going to shared immunity, and human killer on Genesis. Kaito is going to go to the base form, where we're going to put up those mitigations again, receding, swelling, and now we're going to do torrential downpour in the base form. We're going to use the ramping amplify on Hayo. We're going to do, let's see, I will master this sword and the field. Ayabrea in the shift form will do, I think I may be a monster. Parasite Eve Fire, and Awakened Mitochondria. Runda we got dispelled, so we're going to seal the boss, and we're going to protect Ga. That's also going to break the boss. And then Genesis will final verse, so that he's going to auto-refill his MP and focus for the next few turns, because we're going into the home stretch. We're going to go for a nice turn 10 clear. Yeah, this is actually quicker than my previous run. Kind of awesome, huh? Okay, so turn 9. Before we do our stuff on the boss, we are going to use Kaito. Kaito is going to Crashing Waves, shift form. We're going to Crashing Waves to dispel the boss. We're going to Unpredictable Tide to get rid of that Undispellable Spirit buff. And then we're going to Natural for the Fire in Peril. Hayo's going to LB, Aya's going to LB, Genesis is going to Purgatory. We're going to wait on Runda. Now, before we do this, we are going to Parasol with our Melissa. We're going to Human Killer on Hayo. And we're going to Seconds of Support on Aya, because Aya currently does not have a LB damage buff. Now she does. Okay, let's go ahead and do the attack and magic buff. Now let's go ahead and chain this up, and then we're going to cap it with Genesis. Yeah, low amplifies, but we're fine. And we're going to SOB with Runda. Okay, so some attacks this turn, no big deal. And we're going to finish off the boss next turn. We do have the Ramping Amplify. There goes Genesis with the full MP Restore. And the boss is, as you see here, getting some buffs again. But Kaito will automatically dispel them with Crashing Waves. And here's Crashing Waves to get rid of the boss's buffs. Now the boss is going to still have, unfortunately, the anti-Genesis buffs, like the Spirit buff, etc. And the Magic Mitigation. As you see, those cannot be dispelled. We can no longer Magnus them away, but that's fine. So this turn, we're going to use Melissa to Minutes of Might. Whoops. Minutes of Might and double Bar Darkja. That'll give us the LB gauge for the party. There we go. So we LBU, LBU, we're going to LBU, and we're going to Purgatory again. And we're going to attack and magic buff. And that will be the end of the boss. So this, wait, Genesis. Goodbye, boss. Perfect run. There it is. So, boom, handled. Perfect. Okay. There's the rank 1 without Deuce. And honestly, this feels a little bit cleaner than my previous rank 1, honestly speaking. It's quicker, too. It's a turn quicker. So, kind of nice. Perfect score. There it is. We did the 100 count chain score on turn 7. Or turn 6. When did we do that? When did we do that? Oh, turn 7. Yeah, turn 7. Anyway, here is the damage breakdown. So, Aya Brea is the big boy here, as we know. Kaito did a little bit. Hayo is decent as well. Genesis only really got, like, 2.5 burst. And 2 of them had mitigation that we can't remove. So, Genesis, pretty big handicap here. Honestly speaking, Duane probably is a little bit better. The only issue is I found Duane is, because we're doing like back-to-back burst in the final part of the fight, I found Genesis a little bit better for that. So he's actually slightly better in my opinion. But if you don't have Duane or Genesis, Duane probably works. Look at these tickets. Oh my god, did they increase the rates? That's awesome. Anyway, I'll show you the gear. It's mostly similar to the previous gear. Some small changes. As far as Espers go, Aya Brea is on the Overkiller Demon Esper. And the rest of the party, Melissa is just, you know, bulk and morale fill. We are using Tranquil Healing and the Tome of Lakshmi. If you don't have the Lakshmi Tome, don't worry about it. But you do want to put on Tranquil Healing because it does give a modifier boost to all healing. And it makes her heals a lot stronger. Other than that, you know, morale stuff. There you go. Genesis is status immune because of the diadem, but there it is. So 16 magic, 77 MP, maxed on all the killers. Pure Lotus, honestly, it's not even important because actually, yeah, we use final verse, so you don't even need that. And there you go. Runda is 320 fire resist, high bulk, passive provoke. Other than that, Mystic Tenacity for the mitigation, etc. Kaito, in the base form, is dual wielding the will card for the morale. That's optional. Other than that, you know, some auto buffing, Mystic Tenacity, etc. Shift form is LB damage versus the racial combo. He is maxed on everything and status immune. There it is. Hayo in both forms, right there. Maxed on everything. A little bit of LB fill with Kairi. If you don't have that, give Riku's, and there you go. And then Ayabrea in the base form is just some bulk with morale fill. There it is. And then shift form is big damage. And there is the setup. Maxed on everything with status immunity. Okay. Turn chart will be in the comments, and then the next project will be trying to drop Hayo and still getting a rank 1. Which is going to be challenging, but we can probably make it work. Okay. See you in a bit.